FlowFM.
Araba Radio.
Top of the morning to you, Wednesday, the 20th of August, 2025. It's 8 o'clock. Welcome to the headline news analysis. Beautiful Wednesday morning. It's midweek already, and we're super excited to take on some of these trending national headlines with the full analysis provided by Nicholas Uwerunonye. And the beautiful thing of the new headline news analysis is you have a chance to weigh in and, of course, join in the conversation. So the conversation is not restricted to the studio. It's us and you this morning. So join in by calling 0807 777 9927. Please note that you have 60 seconds to make your comment so we can entertain as many calls as possible. Tell us your name, your location, and go straight to the point. My name is Adeyemi.
And I'm Danielle. Shitta-Bey. It's great to have you with us this morning. Good morning to you, Nicholas.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. How's your trip down here as well?
Well, fine.
How are you feeling generally?
Well, just looking at a bit of, this story, yesterday. Nigeria defeated Congo 2-0. I mean, the Super Eagles Team B, it's just, it's only that it's one effort, a good effort that's coming too late. So I wonder what they were doing in the last two matches, honestly. But the fact still remains that those weren't the best crop of players, and there has been a lot of controversy surrounding their selection and everything, making an entire team produce the bulk of just one team in the MPFL produce the bulk of the players there. And a lot of people that I have spoken to in the last couple of days have said that it is a poor reflection of the quality of hands we have. In fact, some are even saying that is the real that is what you are seeing is the best that MPFL can offer. But it's quite, it's a mixed reaction kind of a thing. And it's something I think the football authorities should consider going forward.
Well, I hope they will learn from their mistakes and, of course, review the whole, tournaments, their participation, and, of course, try to do better. I was having a conversation with somebody, just yesterday as well. So, in fact, my neighbor were having this conversation, and it was like, Nigeria is playing. I was like, Nigeria is playing. Is it friendly? And then, honestly, I was like, is it a friendly match? And we're all having a conversation, and then people seemed lost in there. And
exactly.
Then it was as, Nigeria and Congo, the top place match, and everybody just lost interest. Okay, so what's the point? What are they, But again, I hope that they just make up for all of these things.
Exactly. In fact, when you go to Google, you hardly even see highlights of that in Google. But it's a contrast when the women were playing football. I mean, that is the kind of traction that you are seeing. It's because they have not endeared themselves to a lot of people. The MPFL has not. And they need to work on that, honestly.
All right, then. Let's dive into the conversations that we have this morning. But before that, the views to be expressed is not in any way the position of FlowFM 92.7 or the staff therein, but is expressed by our in-house analyst, Nicholas Uwerunonye. And also to remind you that we're streaming live today on Facebook and on YouTube at FlowFM 927. So you can get on any of these apps and get on live action happening in the studio right now. All right, let's pick up this story from an Anambra State. The Anambra State government and police have confirmed the arrest of the members of the Agune Chamber Vigilante Group who assaulted and stripped a female member of the National Youth Service Corps, the person of Jennifer Elobo, in Oba community. Now, the community secretary to Governor Charles Soludo, Ken Emeg Akai, has said that he explained the assault happened during a joint security operation in Udogachi, where when vigilante operatives trailed suspected cultists to a particular NYC lodge. He said the operation itself was lawful, but the manner in which the core member was treated was wrong, and disciplinary measures are underway as both the government and police pledged a commitment to safeguarding NYC members and ensuring that such misconduct by security operatives would not be tolerated.
Well, let me first of all, Operation Udogachi, peace must reign. That's what it means. But you see, what that task force has been doing is anything but peace. Yeah, and that is not the first case of touting. I mean, I'm talking of armed, task force set up by Anambra State, are happy, pouncing on hapless individuals and stripping them of their right. There was the case of an accidental shooting that happened. It was that the person was equally, arrested. Then, of course, there was the case of this tragic incident that happened in Onitsha. I think I think it happened in Onitsha. Either in Onitsha or anyway, it has to do with Amehule Ekechukwu, a former, chairman of the NUJ Chapel of Onitsha, and former leader of the Chamber of Commerce there, was set upon and they broke his spine. Anambra was forced to pay some of the medical bills, but the man died about 2 months ago. So you see, this touting incident has always been an issue in Anambra State. And let us be clear that this isn't the first time they will set up a vigilante to take care of a crime-related, menaces, in the state. Now, I could recall that in the year 2000 when I went to serve in Anambra State, when we went to Oyi, I think Oyi camp. That was where you had the NYSC. On my way into the camp, I was accosted by a very young man. I think he's about 19 years, just thereabout, with a pump action. While going into the camp, the man just came out and said he's a vigilante, to guard the, he was, contracted by the local government to guard, the area and make the place safe. But, interestingly, the guy was very, very polite, then, of course, while serving in Anambra State, you had the case of the Bakassi boys, if you remember. The Bakassi, the Bakassi was a major national issue. It was brought in to stem, the unconscionable, rise in crime and armed robbery. And to a very large extent, it was effective. It was effective, honestly. And there wasn't a case of, overzealousness, all this kind of attack and things like that. So, what we are having with this Operation Udogachi, for me, if I have to say my mind, I think it's a reflection of the manner in which they were constituted. It reflects on the supervisory role, that the government officials and, the police in that place are, the way they, cobbled, that outfit together. And I looked at that video. When you look at that video, you see that these are very, very young guys. I doubt if those guys went through the regimen of training. They just picked, maybe it was more or less like they picked some random touts and put them together and handed them pump actions. So that is what you need to see the way they set on that girl. So it is not enough. It is not enough for the government officials to do a disclaimer saying that they were on legitimate duty. No, that is wrong. You see, what I expect to see is either a police officer or an army officer, you at least one or two, then you surround them, then you have about 3, 4, 5 of those boys. So he's supposed to lead them to do all those things. Now, see, I'm not talking in vacuum. Don't forget that recently the president signed this, what's it called? This law, forest rangers law.
Yes.
Signed it into, signed the bill into law.
I think a couple of them are in training right now. Yes,
they are going to be in training for 9 months. In fact, when I was talking to a security operative on what the training entails, he said, "Look, you see." Then he started telling me on handling ordinances, armed ordinances like an AK-47, for instance. He said, do you know that one AK-47, the damage that one AK-47 can do in a community? Yeah, that is, if you have one AK-47, this entire area, Tanke, will be a war zone. If you know how to see. But then he now told me about, when you shoot one bullet, when you shoot it, unless it reaches that range, anything it comes across, except it is, it's a reinforced, concrete or something like that, it will keep on going. If you line up 100 people before an AK-47, it will penetrate every single one of them until it gets to where it's going. So that's the power of ordnance. So those are the kind of people you hand a pump action to. A pump action is, of course, short range, but the effect is devastating. So you see, the question I ask is, you created an outfit. Then all of a sudden we see them operating. There was no story about where they were trained, whether they were trained at all. Yeah, I know Governor Soludo will not like to listen to this. I think he should go and learn from what Peter Obi did when he was there. He equally created a vigilance group. but those vigilance groups were manned by the GOC, the military. In that they were the one that were coordinating everything in terms of providing them resources. He routed it through them. So this idea of, this thing just has to stop, because the thing is, it's an aberration, honestly. Well, I don't know whether you saw the video.
Well, if you say that, it's embarrassing, really, and it says a whole lot as to their training and understanding of human relation. But again, this is not to downplay the role that the vigilante plays, and even in Anambra State, because again, the security in Anambra State is a top priority, and of course, there's a big concern to the governor, and that's Governor Soludo is really trying to tackle that. Now, across boards where you have vigilante groups, their role is very essential. It's quite commendable, because I think about a week or two ago, there was an incident around Kwarapoli area where some boys, got into the hostels and started macheting, students and all. It was the vigilante who got in there to rescue. And I was having a conversation with one person who said to me that the police they're under the police, they're under the police. But again, how come the overzealousness when it comes to people that even you see basic security men they get very overzealous.
Please look. It is specific to Anambra Ugogachi operation. Please let us give the vigilantes across the country huge kudos. They've been there for eons. They've been there for long, and there are rarely cases of abuses. And you need to look at, when you take a look at them, do a profile of vigilantes across the states in Nigeria. Do a cross profile, their age, their occupation, how long they have been doing what they are doing. Some of them were hunters. They were, employed by communities as security operatives, by security men, before they transited into the organized vigilance system that is manned by, that is supervised by, I think it's NSCDC. They're supervising them now. So you see, regularly they go for training. DSS trains them. They make themselves available. But you need to look at what we have in Anambra State. You see, these are young boys. I've seen their pictures. These are not the kind of people, in fact, they do not even begin to qualify to be called jailer, because the vigilante group is a well-organized system. Those people do not even begin to qualify. So, you see, what you have there is thuggery, clothed in their toga of, a security outfit, So that is my take about that, because, you see, that is why you have, the police will tell you that usually when they have the case of armed, that is a kidnap, abduction, it is usually the vigilantes they put in front. They are like rangers. They are the first on the front. They are the first because they know the terrain. They know how to track. You understand? They know that is in the forest belt. Bring a vigilante man, an operative there. He will show you the track where they pass. These guys are well-experienced people. You see, that is why the federal government is doing a lot in terms of, retinkering with the law, that set up all this police and the rest of them. And I'm very sure a lot of them were incorporated into this, foreign rangers we are talking about. So that is the thing. See, I think that the Anambra State government were a bit too much in a haste, because of the insecurity in the state. And they felt that, since, there was a need to create jobs and things like that. But the security matter is not what you do. Like, it's not an off-cuff thing. It's something it's a deliberate thing. You have to sit down, deliberately plan, and hand them to a thorough security agency to groom them. And you give them laws within which to operate. Even if they are going to go on an operation, you must ensure that at least one police officer is the supervising, agent, within the group.
0807 777 9927 0807 777 9927. Now, we're taking a leave from Alhambra State, and let's come back to another story.
All right, then. This news story, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has issued a new directive mandating that all mobile phones and portable electronic devices be completely switched off during takeoff and landing, effectively banning the use of phone on airplane mode on Nigerian flights.
No,
This
why?
is probably coming from all of the issues that have happened in the past weeks.
Yeah, why am I not surprised? Of course, Nigeria, we will always be very slow in the uptake of technology and things like that. Why was, was it, that is airplane mode. Why is that feature put in place on the phone? So that you can, even if you want to watch videos and things like that. You see, I don't see any sense to that. That's the truth about it. But, probably, what might have informed what you're saying is probably because, there are still a large number of Nigerians who still use this non-Android, non-Apple related phones, or these smartphones. You still have people still using all those small phones that you see around, and probably the best way is to have a blanket that covers everything. But you see, again, we must be very, very Nigeria must do everything to make sure that it operates within the praxis and within the ambit of international best practices. You understand? On this switching of phone thing, I did do a research when all those things was blowing, and I discovered that this airplane mode is more like you're switching off your phone.
Obviously, yes.
Because the phone is not in use anymore. Nothing can come in or go out. Yeah.
But another thing is that probably federal government is trying to save face because it doesn't want to make it look like because what the lady was saying was that the phone was on airplane mode. That was what brought about the initial argument. And if you listen to her comment, at the end of the day, in fact, he even went beyond putting on airplane mode to switch off the phone from her own account, that she had two phones and the other one was bad because of the switch off button was bad, so he had to ask somebody to switch it. But it was the manner in which he was approached, the manner in which he was spoken to, that led to the escalation of that situation. But like I said, it's like NCA is trying to overlook the other gaps, operational gaps that you have there. And this is the fact that the quality of air hostesses that they have on, they are not up to scratch. They need to train and retrain them, especially in the area of the escalating crisis. When you go on air, I have traveled a lot in the past. There is no time, I travel on air that I am not on edge. That is also, I traveled fairly at some point. In fact, at that point, my company, the company I was working for, had a barter arrangement with Sosoliso Airline. So traveling is like you are taking a motorway, just get into, the next thing is just get a coupon and you're out of Lagos State, traveling to anywhere you want to, anywhere you have Sosoliso traveling to, So, with it, there is no time that I travel, that I'm not on edge. So you can then imagine, compared to people who are not as, fortified as I am, emotionally and psychologically, when you have people that can't, people don't even know that they suffer vertigo when they are on, on flight. So it's a pressurized environment. So it's not about switch off phone or things like that. It's about emotional management, especially in a tense atmosphere. That was what happened. So it's, for me, I haven't blamed the girl for at least allowing things to go out of hand, which she duly apologized to. But I think that there was poor management of the situation, and NCA is just trying to save face.
Now, with all of this, again, we will still have Nigerians still, maybe one way or the other, still flouting this, or will still flout this.
Oh, definitely. No, it's human.
But again, I think we should really focus on the training and retraining, which the NCCA is also recommending, because it's going to be embarrassing if we continue to have this kind of things on the airplane. It's embarrassing. Now, my question is, if wherever you want to travel to with Nigeria, I don't think you can spend 2 hours, depending.
Okay.
So, is it that it's not convenient for Nigerians or air passengers to be just stay off their mobile phone for at least the hours they travel within the country?
Right now, maybe we don't know. Do we have a call?
Yes, we do. Sorry to bother you. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello,
Good morning.
Good morning. Could you turn down the volume of your radio set, please? Okay, but please turn down the volume of your radio set or turn it off so we can have a good conversation, please.
Okay, for me, on the SVA, I think to tonight of Nicholas, but there are two things I think I should advise.
There's a lot of interference
on the part of the crew and yes, on the part of the crew. Then secondly, we have an nameplate laws and the penalties for violating these laws. Because the truth is that if we travel abroad, little thing as little as probably, obeying the traffic light. Nigerians are the most obedient. But when it comes to our country, you will say, don't you know me? I am this, I am that. And these people that are saying, don't you know me, they are not trying to do. So I believe the SCA should have, made sure that the defaulters of all these enabling laws should be made scapegoats. So if there are scapegoats, people would, henceforth obey. Because the crew members will not go to everybody on the plane to start checking airplane mode on this or that. So I think that was all brought about the total switch. So my conclusion is just that they should make sure there are scapegoats for whoever violates these laws. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Again, it just goes back to the question that would there be full compliance, by Nigerians to this? And again, on the other side, if you look at it again, people just want to travel maybe from here to Abuja or from here to Akwa Ibom State, and they probably want to just read a novel on their phone. People have, novels on their phone.
Exactly. You see, like, okay.
Sorry.
Let's take this call then.
Take another call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Danielle.
Good morning to you, Mr. Davis.
This is Mr. Davis calling from Shao.
Yes, Mr. Davis. Please go ahead with your comment.
Yes, I want to comment on the sad event in Anambra. You see, though it was a sad event, but still, those guys are still doing a good job. You see, when you have an isolated cases, the whole system should not be rubbish. That's number one. Then number two, I think the governor have the SA on security. I think it is the responsibility of the SA on security to see how these people can be trained. You see, the governor is too overloaded, and that is why we are having problem now. The governor cannot know everything, but when we have capable hands as their SA or their commissioner, they should be able to formulate a policy that be acceptable to everybody. Though I sympathize with the lady, it should not be annoyed. You should take it as a Nigeria factor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davies, for your comment this morning. 0807 777 And quickly, let's pass comment on some of these reactions that we've got.
Yeah, well, let me start from the last caller. You see, I lived in Anambra for 1 year, and I go there occasionally. As I think I was there last year. Was it last year?
Yes, you were there.
I was there last year.
And then you had a good time.
You see, look,
chickens.
It's a one of come. The thing is that Anambra is it's a well organized community, but usually once in a while you have a spiral of crime and things like that. And usually, when you have those things, the conventional security agency are not usually up to scratch in handling them. So most times they resort to task force. So it is not new. What was done with that Udogachi thing is not a new thing. But you see, you must understand that Soludo came highly recommended. That is the point that I just want Nigerians to understand. He came highly. See, we are looking towards somebody that will surpass both Peter Obi and Obiano put together. Because he had the pedigree coming in, having functioned as the CBN governor and the special advisor on economy. In fact, if you talk of the consolidation thing we talked about, it's credited to him. You understand? But of course, we know that he has his own drawbacks too. He can be prone to a lot of hubris, temperament, and things like that. We know that. But you see, when he came in, we expected that he is going to be, top notch in terms of creating processes that will all these stopgap measures that we put in, he's going to put a firm structure to make sure that we won't be seeing these glitches. You understand? That is not the only place where we've seen glitches in Anambra now. Don't forget that Anambra has been in the news in the areas of crime lately. You understand? And before now, it used to be 26, but now it is 10th. In terms of when you look at the ranking, I think I was arguing with somebody and they went there and they saw that it was 10th. It wasn't like that before. Then pari passu with other indices of development, you see that it's going down. You understand? It's no longer first in education right now. So those are the issues. That is where the disappointment comes from, because we expect him to do more than what we are seeing. It's what it, as far as I'm concerned, is mediocre. So that is the point. Then, of course, the second caller made it very sound that, that there must be enforcement. The reason why we had this Quam 1, Quam 2 thing was because there was poor enforcement in rules. So that is just it. Instead of promoting people to become ambassadors and things like that, if a scapegoat had been made in the first instance, probably that other young lady wouldn't have gone to the extent she went, that resulted into some of those things. And I'm sure there was 1 or 2 or 3 other instances happened even after those two, those celebrated cases. So that is, these are very good points.
But mobile phone is a personal, mobile phone is a personal belonging of a passenger.
Yeah.
And like I was trying to paint, somebody could decide to say, you know what, I cannot sit an hour, 30 minutes, an hour, 40 minutes on this,
read something,
on
watch
this flight. I probably might just get bored or something like that. There are people like that.
There are
a lot of
Nigerians
Nigerians.
Have things on their phone
A lot of people, they probably want to just keep them and keep up the, to save past time.
And also, to just add to that, do you think that curbing or making people switch off their phones on app would curb the unruly behavior, quote unquote, that they're talking about
from passengers?
From passengers.
Well, it will control it to a large extent, because now they know that it is banned and there will be sanctions. So maybe not totally. And I still see instances where some VIPs will be let off the hook, and that is always a problem with our enforcement. Thing.
That's another thing.
So
probably it's just going to bind on ordinary Nigerian who can afford.
It's what it simply reflects. In those days, when you get into a plane, you get a lot of magazines to read, but you don't see that anymore. You don't see that anymore. Because I recall that when National Mirror, came on board. They had this program with one of the airlines supplying them newspapers every morning. Do you have a call?
No, we have a message though.
But how many airlines have newspapers that people can read now? How many of them have fresh magazines that you can read now? You don't see all those happening anymore. You understand? So definitely people will rely on phones. So you have raised a very, like for someone like me, I can't do it without, I'm a journalist. I can't do it without my phone, for at least 10 minutes on the stretch without looking at it. So now we'd go about clutching the power banks all over the places, So that is another thing that I think NCA should have looked at. They should have.
All right, let's take this Facebook comment. It's from a news story that we had yesterday concerning politicians getting a hike in their salaries. Dr. and Mrs. Omale Barra from Owerri, contemplating increasing salaries of Mr. President, lawmakers and ministers show how insensitive these leaders are. At this austere time, masses are suffering and workers are receiving meager salaries when we're expecting them to cut down high cost of governance and frivolities, when we're expecting the lawmakers to cut down jumbo allowances and provocative remunerations. Sad that these leaders don't feel the pulse of the masses and no consideration and feelings of human kindness.
Well,
that was her comment. Time is fast spent. Your closing thoughts on this, on the conversations this morning. Real quick, few seconds.
You see, it's just the case of the Anambra that really got to, because Anambra has a special place in my heart. And I think it should go beyond just arresting those guys.
All right, then. Thank you very much for analyzing this morning with us. The views expressed is not in any way the position of FlowFM 92.7 or the staff therein, but is expressed by our in-house analyst, Nicholas Uwerunonye. Please join us tomorrow from 8 o'clock to 8:30 for another analysis tomorrow. I'm Danielle Shitta-Bey.
And I am Adedayo Adeyemi. Thank you for joining us. We'll continue with the Flow Breakfast Show.